Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We
Good morning, everyone.
oh
Good
yeah,
morning.
good morning. Uh-oh.
It's morning somewhere.
It's morning for me. I woke up 2 hours ago.
Oh, we're all spelling that with a U, right?
Yes.
Oh,
All
of
right,
course.
yeah. Making sure we're all on the same page
Yes.
there.
Welcome everybody. I'm gonna give it some time for people to jump into the chat, jump into the stream. But I'm very excited to present to you Mörk'd, the finale.
Borg!
Borg.
The Swedish chef just Borg. So we're really excited. We're gonna be, for those of you who haven't joined us before, we're gonna loop you all in. You're gonna be right here with everybody else. For those of you who've been with us through the whole campaign, we're gonna do probably a big thank you so much at the tail end of this. But while people were jumping in and while we're kind of getting everything set up, just give a quick, huge thank you. First off, to Borg for letting us mork with their Borg. We're gonna have.
You're never gonna find a more Morkier or a Borgier game than Mörk'd.
You can try. I invite everyone to try. Just try. We're gonna have actually the artist. Mörk'd is an award-winning indie tabletop RPG. We're gonna have the artist for Mörk'd on it for an interview at some point because Oz is best friends with Johan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, best friends. And so we will have that interview at some point, just as like a big thank you to them for creating this really cool indie RPG, and also just to talk about like game design in general. So if that interests you, keep an eye on honestly the Viking Media, which is where Oz is at Instagram. But I'm also a big thank you to Oz because this whole campaign world, everything that we're doing wouldn't happen without him. Wherever you are in the planet, give a good morning clap to Oz just to wake him up, just as a thank you.
No matter what time of
snaps.
day.
Acceptable.
Always wish me good morning.
Good morning. So Oz brought us all together. He had this idea of us doing this kind of indie tabletop campaign. Oz gathered the perfect crew to do so. So without further ado, after you have finished following the Viking Media on Instagram to keep up to date on all the awesome things that Oz is continuing to create and do, you should go right on down the road to Sanji's Closet. That's Kim over here. Kim is understandably worn out because, as you all have learned from your time seeing Kim do anything, Kim is amazing and a teacher, and those combine to being worn out in this current day and age. So we're obviously very, very, very happy to have had Kim through the whole campaign. Check out Sanji's Closet. Kim's always working on really cool stuff. Sometimes she goes quiet for a while, but that's nice because it's a calm before the storm sort of situation. I can tell you from experience. So that is the greatest. Also, go then down the lane to Vicious Frockery on Instagram, and I think all the places.
All of the places.
And if you have not been following Vi through this whole campaign, you've made a grave mistake. Go and fix that now and enter into the contest that Vi is currently running in partnership with Wormwood. And Vi has all sorts of really cool content and partnerships and stuff all kind of coming down the road. So if you're not following, you're a grave mistake on your part, which, you know, we are playing Mörk'd, so I understand a grave mistakes can be good things, but do yourself a favor. Follow Vi. So besides the fact that during this campaign, we've had 2 Instagram name changes, Vi becoming Vicious Frockery and Oz becoming the Viking Media. Another thing that's happened is 3 of us started this campaign without jobs, and now officially I can announce that 3 of us, because I have gotten a job, are ending this campaign with jobs. So if there's one thing I can say about Mörk'd and playing tabletops with friends, it makes you more employable. Statistically
and that is
proven.
Yeah. Yes.
Honestly, I think that I got both of the jobs that I have because of having this charity campaign on my resume.
You heard it here first, folks.
That's it.
play some tabletop RPGs. And if you need help for any reason, go to goblinsandgrowlers.com, jump in our Discord, and help us continue to create inclusive community. The last thing, if you want to bully Vicious Frockery and the Viking Media into being on one of our Phantasmophobia streams, for those of you who graciously donated to our VCU Children's Hospital fundraiser for the holidays, please go blow up their DMs with positivity. It has to be a cat gif or a cat picture of some type, and that will let them know that they need to go and hunt ghosts with me. So
Feel free to come and say hi to me so I feel included, but I don't do the scary, so
Yeah.
I won't.
Not the ghosty scary. This campaign with the gory scary. A-okay.
A-okay.
Ghosty scary.
yeah, please, if you're going to send, if you're going to send cat gifts to one of us, send them to all of us. Let's that should be a rule of thumb, I think, for all friendships.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Awesome. So that's kind of just getting you caught up to what's all going on. I'm gonna real quick drop the link to our stream just for all the peeps over on some different Discords, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our Mörk'd characters, so you're completely caught up, whether you've been journeying up with us for the whole time or whether you're jumping in right just now. Because we're real excited. We're really excited to see what kind of misery Oz is going to throw at us today, quite literally.
Can we do it in character?
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes, and. Yeah, absolutely. Do whatever's going to be most comfortable for you. I am excited for all of this. Okay, excited. So. If you want to jump us off real quick, Oz, by first saying kind of just you don't have to give us an overview of our campaign. We're going to talk about our characters' progressions, but just tell us what's one thing that you love about being a GM for Mörk'd.
Oh man, the rule system itself is just so fun and gritty. Despite it being a OSR rule system, it doesn't feel like any other OSR that I've played. It stands out in a league of its own and is just absolutely brilliant and enjoyable. The book is a journey from start to finish. It's a feast for your eye holes. But in terms of this campaign, I love that regardless of what I try to do or I try to set the tone in any way, you guys will always have me laughing so hard, and it's been so fantastic just to cut the tension with the worst jokes imaginable.
You serve up the feast for the eye holes, but we partake. We partake in the eye hole feasting.
Delicious.
Kim, do you wanna tell us a little bit about Orange? And Orange's
in character, Orange. Let me see. I'm just gonna read my character sheet. No, I'm kidding. Orange is the large, muscular, very well-spoken fanged deserter with just so many pets. I'm wearing my dog sweater in honor of Orange. Today it's covered in dogs. You'll know Orange by his pet mule named Orange, and his dog named Orange, and his rat named Orange, and his pigeon named Orange.
At various points during our journey, Orange has had different pitch inflections for every animal and person.
You know what? I just realized I had my notes on here about what they are.
I've never seen a more dynamic character who only speaks one word, ever.
Yeah, and I feel like Orange's most prized possession after all of this is probably like his little book of paintings that he stole from the library with the child's drawing tucked inside. I feel like that's his his most specialist thing.
What has Orange learned from our journey so far?
What has Orange learned?
It could be nothing, but is there something that Orange has taken away?
I mean, I feel like Orange was probably like highly trained in socializing kind of things, as you can clearly tell. Man, I feel like Orange has learned how to haggle really well.
So he's taken life skills away.
Yeah, and he's learned how to manage his friends. Specifically when they do something they shouldn't, just pick them up.
Mm-hmm. So Orange is on from what I'm hearing, Orange is on his way to becoming a teacher.
He always was.
Let's hear a little bit about Vi's character.
My character is a lot more serious, I think. Just because I made a certified sad boy and then was a little bit of a stick in the mud and refused to change it. But he ended up being so like cocky over the course of the campaign. Like he really like found his stride, and I was like, he's gonna be cocky, but like he'll chill out, and it just got worse. Like it just got he just like got I think a lot more sympathetic, because like his storyline is about like running from his boyfriend's father, who was a local king, and then eventually running back into him and like rectifying his lover's like kind of family relationship via killing dad,
With
but
his
like
own
has to
son.
with his own son, yeah, with the son is now in the sword that Gilbert carries.
So in other words, a relatable story for everyone.
Yes, truly, just like the
Gilbert's
most
an
relatable
everyman.
content. He really is a Renaissance man, I'd like to say.
I definitely have students that could relate to his story, I think.
Yeah, I think that it's like a really universal story for kids too.
Mm-hmm.
We've all fallen in love with someone who turned out to be a sword.
Yeah,
And
and
committed
then we
regicide
all
with them.
yes, and then we all speak to it as if it is a voice that our entire party can hear. Everyone around us can hear the sword speak. And like I think he started off being like holding everybody at an arm's length, like holding Poltroon, who is his like jester / like bard compatriot, like at an arm's length, and being like, I don't actually like you. And I think that he was holding Ernj kind of far away, and you know, I think everybody else kind of far away from him in the campaign, and like slowly he's sort of been like, I stick to people now. Whereas previously he was very much like, well, I'm gonna die any day. So it's been really interesting in this like world of death and like predestined expiration, that like he would push off the expiration date repeatedly because he wanted to, you know.
What is Gilbert taking away from his travels so far?
I think that ability. I think the ability to like, you know, find something to live for that isn't a person or a event, like just like the drive to kind of keep going and see how things find out, because people have like, you know, he has a found family trope, and I like that.
I love that. Yeah.
What about Gorm? What's the takeaway there?
Yeah, let's talk about Gorm. Gorm, who's the character that I play. I've kind of tried to get back into Gorm clothing so I could get back into just crawl inside the skin of Gorm. Gorm is the opposite of the everyman that is Gilbert. No, Gorm is definitely made to be a kind of unlikable but faithful companion. I really wanted him to be this kind of double-edged sword, one side of it facing kind of like enemies to the party, and one side of it kind of facing the party itself. In that he's designed to be this, he was created with the Mörk'd help to be this kind of like, he's cursed, he's going to bring trouble to whoever he's with, but he also is fiercely loyal, but probably to a fault, because he's just a strange person who hasn't quite figured out how to separate a lot of like what is reality and what is like his reality. So that's what Gorm was intended to be. Gorm, as we've progressed, has fallen into the role of being like still that fiercely loyal compatriot, but he ended up being like a lot more sane than I kind of was anticipating him to be. And he also ended up being a lot like kind of the glue to hold some of our party together. Which was,
for sure.
Yeah, very not the intention. Sorry, not the glue, the lard that held this party together.
Yes.
And that was definitely not my intention with Gorm, and I'm really happy he grew into that role. And it felt organic. And I think if he didn't grow into that role, we probably would have had a lot more I don't know, like chaos than maybe was even intended. But I think one of the fun things about characters, and all these characters especially, is I feel like they've grown a lot in our campaign. And if you are a tabletop player, you know exactly how that feels. If you're not, I just really encourage you to find a group and tell those collaborative stories, because the paths that you think your character is going to take, oftentimes they take different ones and pleasantly surprise you, and it's always fun and exciting. So we are going to be a little bit wistful, but we're going to be excited because we're getting to the end of our current paths for our characters, and we're going to jump into that right now with Borg.
Now, real quick, Alon.
Yeah.
So Gorm, his class is the hermit, the esoteric hermit, right?
Yeah.
But Gorm has been excellent at making friends. Of all the colorful characters in this Borg campaign, who would you say is Gorm's best friend?
Gorm's best friend has to be Bob. Bob the Skull. Yeah.
All right.
No, I think Gorm, it probably really is Gilbert and Ernj. Because I think Gorm, as the esoteric hermit, he'd lived most of his life alone. We didn't get too much into backstory, but he had a lot of like, he hasn't had time to really create these bonds with people, because a lot of times the people he creates bonds with die, because it's Borg. It's the tragic world of Mörk'd. But I think Gorm, like, it's funny because, like, you smash 15 glasses of beer, but then it just becomes popular and people, want to get in on the beer smashing. And Gorm started a few trends. He's a trendy fellow. So it must be the turtleneck. But yeah, no, Gorm has through beaten my expectations of being this kind of, I don't know, somebody that people actually like. I knew the large salesman would love him, but that was probably, is there an NPC more so than the large salesman that you were surprised that we really brought into Borg real quick?
It's one of my favorite things. Just, yeah, we can't afford these normal rations. Is there anyone selling lard? Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, lard salesman from New Jersey, I believe, the coast.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, totally.
Mid-Atlantic.
Lard salesman.
Yeah.
So and real quick, before we jump into streaming, I know I've said that a few times now. I just really want to thank you guys, everybody who's watching. I'm glad to see the viewership tick up for this last stream, because this stream, I think, I know for sure for me, it's going to hold a special place in my heart, and I think for all of us, a special place in our heart for helping me to get through some of the difficulties that this whole year threw at us, collectively as people and as I don't know, as communities. So thank you guys so much for the support through the stream and for giving us opportunities to give back. We raised, I looked it up, we raised something over $750 through this stream, just in the like the last, like, just over autumn. I think with summer it was something crazy, like over 1,500.
We were higher than that, weren't we? Closer to like 4K or something?
Well, I was gonna say it's something, yeah. And I need to. I'll go and dig it up, and we'll post it and be celebratory about it. I know too, a lot of donations were made not through our thing, but just directly to the charities that we were supporting.
Yeah.
That stuff doesn't happen without you guys. Yeah. It was like 3 point something $1,000 over the course of all of our streams. You guys, it doesn't happen without you guys, the audience, just making it super fun for us, and we're so happy we got to make it super fun for you guys, and we got to have this sense of community when all of us were locked inside and still locked inside, but couldn't have it elsewhere. So big little hearts.
We appreciate it so much.
Yeah. So last game of Mörk'd. Let's you guys know the characters. We've got the well-spoken Ernj. We have the confidently intolerable Gilbert, and we have the friend of everyone, father of none, Gorm, and
that he knows of.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we're gonna jump on into it, and we have a hard stop at 6. So you guys know we're going to make it short and sweet, just like every Mörk'd campaign, because the world ends.
All right. So where we last left off many weeks ago now, we took quite the hiatus over the holiday season. Our adventurers were at the bar talking to their old friend, Glenn, now older in many ways, who had seemed to have aged rapidly, much more than just the 2 months that they've gone without seeing him. He spent the last 6-8 weeks, however long, at the schoolhouse by the lake, communing with the spirits of these children that had their lives taken away from them, and then their bodies turned to ash. And he told these stories that made it seem as if he was there for decades, many years, longer than just the time that he was there. He had vivid visions of the world collapsing, of some powerful tyrant that for some reason in his visions he could tell his name, a name that rang familiar with our adventurers, Count Raven. This entity that is pursuing the end of the world and pursuing these adventurers. And although it sounded like the ramblings of a madman, they just couldn't help but resonate as true with our adventurers. They seemed to match up with the visions that they've had of the world ending, or the odd fates on those nights of terrible things happening. Where we last left off, our adventurers were sharing some drinks with Glenn as the evening started to fade into night before resting for what little they can take. So tossing it over to you guys, as you have listened to these ramblings and visions of this old man, what do you do as the evening starts to fade away? You're here in the actual best ale in all of Galgenbeck.
Well, I don't want to be presumptuous, but friends, it seems like we have to go on a quest. We have to stop this Count Raven fellow.
I would honestly agree. Where's Poltroon and compatriot at this time? Are they with us?
So Greg Slanzig works the night, evening, or no, he worked the morning shift at the bar. So Greg Slanzig and Poltroon are here at the bar, but they are a little bit away from you, just kind of enjoying being reunited with each other after so long apart.
So Gilbert's like, where are they? And then they're like, over here.
Hi.
Not in Gilbert's immediate vision. He's forgotten about them.
What, I mean, do you guys think that we should involve them? They weren't involved the first time. I just want to make sure that we have backup. I don't know. Going against anyone that calls themselves a king always, I think, probably needs a little bit extra hands.
Ernst just nods as he holds up a beer glass for the pigeon to
The little dippy bird.
out of, yeah.
Hey, you guys, do you mind coming over here really fast?
They pick up their drinks and walk on over to the end of the bar where you sit with Glenn.
Scoots down to make a little bit of room and kind of leans and just goes, what do we need? Artillery? Lard? Help? How do we prepare to fight something that we've never seen before, or something that we've never met.
Well, I think first we have to close the bar, right? We have to Poltroon, lead us in the traditional bar closing song that we sing.
Closing time.
Less than 3 seconds, we're fine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stop there before we get.
Yeah.
We can do the orange rendition.
Yeah.
Oh,
Please.
I
wanna
Orange
hear this
rendition.
rendition.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Orange, orange, orange. I don't know the rest of the song, honestly.
Urge, 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 urge.
I wasn't raised by Americans.
So after Orange sings a beautiful rendition of the very American closing time.
When I think of America, I think of closing time.
I did listen.
I've been
Pop
thinking of
culture
closing time.
references, not my thing.
Yeah. I've been thinking, America, you should be doing closing time for the last 10 months.
Oh.
Yeah. Well.
Well, it worked.
You just- well, okay. Now I feel like it's a good morning, morning the closing of the bar, of course. So let's plan. What do we need? What should we do? Gilbert is right. We need to be prepared if we're gonna go up. We can't just commit regicide twice as easily as the first time.
I mean, we're 1 out of 100% of the time. So success so far 100% of the time. But I don't know what adding another factor to this would possibly do to those odds.
Well, I think that the mix of regicide and patricide really played into your favor.
That's true. That's true.
Without killing your father, I think it's kind of a little bit of a loss.
I mean, he wasn't my father.
Regicide with a side of Patra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
Patricide. Patricide.
There's a name in there somewhere for a player character.
Sounds like
Pat.
a hard cider brand.
Yeah, it does. Pat Reggie side.
Yeah. On the right side of justice, on the wrong side of the law.
This summer.
Poltroon is Reggie Pat side.
God, what a great band
And
name.
Greg Slanzy.
Greg Slanzig as himself.
What do you think Greg, speaking of you, where should we go to confront this Count King Lord Raven?
I don't know. I've never heard of such a thing like this. But if you're looking to prepare yourself, I guess that there's the market where you could find the things that you need, the food, the perhaps getting your weapons shined up. I don't know.
How will we know when we get there? Are there signs or sigils or anything that we're particularly looking for? Do you have a physical description? Or if we're going out to kill someone, then we need more information for the hit job.
So
Real
Glenn
quick, I'm
chimes
gonna need
in.
to turn your gain up just a little bit.
Okay, is that better?
Oh my God, beautiful.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks. Sorry.
Glenn chimes in from between the group of adventurers and is like, I believe you're trying to speak to me about this, not that young man.
Oh my gosh. I've made a classic. I'm a misfit. Ignore me.
It's just a clerical error, dude. Don't worry about it.
My visions of all of this, they came from the Black Tower from the northeast. That's what I saw time and time again. The tower that mirrors that here in Galgenbeck, but made of black stone instead of white. If you are to confront Count Raven. If my visions hold true, he would be there. That is a 7, maybe more days journey by foot.
Are you trying to tell me that we're looking for a dark tower?
Yes. Hey.
I think I know of this place. My friend, who's another king named Stephen, brought word. There's a lot of kings in this world.
Lots of kingdoms, that's for sure.
The Stephen Kingdom in
The
Mörk'd.
Stephen Kingdom, yes.
There it is.
Okay, well, would you like to accompany us, or? I know you've been just drinking here in the bar for 4 weeks. I don't know if you're excited to leave that behind, or if that's part of your brand.
Well, it has become quite comforting for me. I could stretch these old bones and maybe make the journey with you.
We would definitely appreciate the company, I think.
I'm not sure how much of use I could be for this, but maybe it will do me well to see these visions come to fruition. For better or for worse.
Honestly, as someone who has had a fair amount of visions in the past few months, sometimes following them is more cathartic than you would think that it could be.
Orange pauses to pet the cat that suddenly appeared.
Gilbert
the bar
also
cat.
pets the cat.
Oh,
Yes.
the bar cat. Zarko the Barcato. The Bargato?
There you go.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. At the very least, you can help us get there if you at any time, like if you want to sing, you can sing with me.
I'm not sure if I have much of a singing voice left in me. But I'll be happy to listen to whatever music you have for this.
Poltroon, does that mean you're coming along?
Then he looks towards Gilbert. Sir, do you want me to accompany you for this?
I wouldn't have you any other place, but I understand if you wanted to stay here.
And he cracks a small smirk and he says, I'd be more than happy to accompany you for this.
I'd appreciate it if you would come along. We could use your help.
I'll be there by your side, sir.
Is Orange
That's
inviting?
growth.
Is Orange inviting all the animals?
I mean, it's just a given. He knows they're coming.
Yeah, he ties another knot to the pigeon.
The pigeon doesn't have a choice. It's tied to the strap on his mask. He's feeding the rat bar nuts.
Yes.
Perfect.
Whose hand is the dog licking right now is the real question.
Can it be me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, Gilbert is just kind of casually.
Just bleps, and it's real slobbery, really slobbery bleps.
Like that giant mutt tongue
Could you give us
that
some?
you can't get anywhere else.
Could you give us? I just want to get the immersion. Could you give me the noise that the Orange?
God, I don't have my dog in here licking her butt to give you an idea. But it's like.
No. Gilbert kind of does one of those and then just does it again. Like
It's just like every time there's a lull in the conversation, it's like
just all you hear,
that slurping.
See,
I
it's
see
a
the
mix
bar
of the
cat
dog
has jumped
slurping.
on Gilbert's lap too.
Yes.
Yeah, whenever the conversation lulls, it's a mix of the dog slurping and then people playing the odd game that Gorm accidentally created of smashing beer bottles out of Target.
Yes.
Didn't that game involve yelling orange?
Yes.
Yeah, whenever they
Remember-
hit the bullseye. And it was,
Yeah.
Urge!
If you don't yell Orange, you have to pay for the beer.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we're ready. I've loaded up. I think we bought like 30 pounds of lard, so we have enough
We bought
A
rations.
did.
lot of lard.
I think
the
we
last
did.
So much so that Tully gave you the frequent buyer rare brew.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our frequent flyer lard card. I don't know if you've ever seen the lard card. It's
It's
made
so
of
slimy.
I hate that if you combine lard and card, it just makes a word.
It's either
Your
lard or
lard
it's card.
the lard card.
Unless you say,
The
unless you
Lord
say
card.
clared.
Yeah, Claude.
You know, it's it goes well with my Alucard I've got.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kind of has like an Alucard thing going on. Gorm does, like very pretty, like a little glowy, little ethereal,
Yeah.
blonde.
Probably drinks blood. Definitely
drinks blood.
drinks ash.
Definitely rubs ash on his gums.
Yeah.
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 Now I want Helsing to make a series of like Valentine's cards that just have Alucard on them.
They're just Alucards.
Yeah,
Yes.
Valentine's
Mhm.
cards.
Anyway,
It just every one of them is just slay me. I think we before retiring for the night, we probably drink some ale and
Yeah, ration up, like
Mhm.
get everything that we need.
and Ernj leads us in the last tavern song, what people sing before their journey.
oh. Orange, orange, orange.
Urge.
Yeah, it feels.
Just hold that nice. Who's gonna do the
That's good.
falsetto orange at the end?
Yeah.
And then all the people playing the bottle smashing game just urge.
Yeah.
With tears streaming down there, just snot
yeah, it was a
and
beautiful
tears. They're just-
symphony.
Yeah. The
A
house
little
lights come
bittersweet,
up.
but-
Yeah. And it's gross. They immediately go back
Oh,
down.
yeah.
It was way too
Oh, yeah.
gross. We know you're looking for
Alright.
a bathroom, but there is no public restroom here.
All right, so what do you guys do?
All right, we're gonna go rest up and then leave in the morning.
All right. Now is that with a U or
Yes.
okay?
Are we all gonna dogpile into Greg Slanzig's
Apartment, I would assume.
apartment? I hope.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's kind of what you guys have been doing, just
Yeah.
sleeping on the floor, using
In
your
like the 5x5.
There's no more
Yeah.
important fan art to the campaign of Mörk'd than all the companions just and animals just spooning.
Yes.
Yeah.
All in like a line.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Orange is the small spoon.
Yes. Or just the littlest spoon.
It's the orange and the mule are the end caps. They're like the
Yes.
bookends.
So lead us
Alright.
into the dawn of a new day.
Yeah, so you guys go back to the tiny little apartment that belongs to Greg Slanzig. As described before, it's roughly the size of my office that I'm in right now, so like 10 by 10. There is a dresser, there is a bed, and not much else outside of that. You bring the dog up there. It's hard to get the mule up to like the third floor ladder that leads to this apartment. But he's tied up, he's safe outside. You guys curl up for the night. It's kind of tough to get a good night's rest knowing what lies ahead of you, or not knowing what lies ahead of you even. But it's better than sleeping on the streets. It's certainly better than some other places that you've slept. It doesn't smell as bad as some of the places you've been. And after a little while of tossing and turning, listening to these sounds of street fighting happening below the window, you're able to get at least a little bit of shut-eye. And as the night turns to dawn, another day rolls around upon us, and I think that we're gonna toss the misery die over to Alon for this one.
One of the core mechanics to Borg is you have a dice that every day you roll, and if you roll a 1, it brings you closer to the end of the world. So we are 2 ones away from the end of the world, and we're going to roll. And I told Oz I would roll a 1, so I'm really hoping I'm going to roll a 1.
I want to see this last a little bit longer, but
Well, I rolled a 3 on this one, but I know we have a 7-day
Okay.
journey coming up, so a 1 will surely come. But we are closer to the end of the world, but we're no closer in this one instance.
all right. So you guys wake up after eventually being able to get some sleep. What little bit of the sun peeks through the dark clouds of this cold gray land also peeks through the window. And this time the sound of the morning street fights wake you up instead of being lulled to bed by the nighttime street brawls. You guys wake up, have what semblance of breakfast Greg has to offer here in his tiny apartment. It's some stale bread and old butter, but it's enough to get you going, get a little bit of food in your belly.
I love old butter.
I too love old butter. I
That
love
sounds like the name
table
of
butter.
a really cute cow.
Hey there, old butter.
Old butters.
And you guys are ready to start your day.
All
What do you
right.
guys do?
Get up, strap on the swords at the sword belt that sort of dangles at the very low point of Gilbert's pants. Yeah, sort of.
It's like
on,
there are
leisurely
the
coat.
2 types of bassist. The one bassist that plays up here, and the one
Yes.
that plays at their knees.
Oh yeah, Gilbert's playing at his knees.
Two
Gilbert's
types-
crab walking his way through this
Oh,
world.
perfect.
I was going to
Oh,
say 2
yeah.
types of bassist, Korn's bassist and everyone else.
Yeah, Flea and everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he does that. He puts on like the shreds of coat that are left that like has not been cleaned. It was purple, it's now like gray.
Yeah, it's like black with stained blood.
Oh yeah,
And also just ripped asunder, like,
for sure. It's thin now, like it's very threadbare.
yeah.
And he's just like ready to go.
Yeah,
Took
get
care
up.
of his damn self, not helping anybody else, just sort of standing in the corner looking cool.
There you go. What is everyone else's morning routine?
Yeah, Gorm gets up, straps on like Gilbert, and then straps in for a ride to the Dark Castle.
Yeah.
Orange is feeding his pets.
There you go.
Morning routine.
Yeah.
There's just so many.
Still humming.
And they're
the
all
song.
like meow, meow, meow,
I
meow,
feel
meow.
like the pigeon's just kind of picking stuff out of his hair.
Uh-huh.
And the rat probably is too, in all honesty.
They're sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, and when the rat realizes that the pigeon's gotten most of it, it moves on to another person in the party. Definitely gonna stick its little rat nose in some ears. Gonna sneeze in Poltroon's ear, as
no.
rats do. And then Orange is feeding like pocket food to the dog and all that.
I imagine that the rat and the pigeon have a pretty good friendship. One is the rodent of the earth, the other is the rodent of the sky.
Yeah, and oddly enough, the one with wings is not the rodent of the sky.
Oh, what a turn of events.
Ooh.
Yeah, have you ever heard of a flying squirrel?
Just saying, the rat can jump. It's got some ups. The pigeon's a little too
Tied down.
grapefruit shaped.
Just a number of rats, just wearing little Nike Air Jordans,
Mhm.
Perfect.
scampering around, making the squeaky squeaks that you hear on the court for basketball games.
Yeah, rats definitely make the exact same sound.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not convinced yet that basketball players aren't just wading through a sea of rats on the court every time.
They are it's not that they're wading through a sea of rats, it's that they're just many rats standing on top of each other.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's
Wow.
true.
Who would have thought? Look, sports facts. Uh, instead of sneakers, they're called squeakers. So no, real quick, we've got a whole lump of viewers who've jumped in recently. We're playing Borg. We have a hard 6 cut. This is getting crazy. Orange, which is Kim over in the corner, who only says his own name. Gilbert, which is Vi, who is a confident asshole in a good way.
Yes.
Yeah, the kind that makes sure that things get done. And Gorm, who is me, who is just trying to bless you, just trying to find a sense of place before the world ends. But the world is ending imminently. We're heading towards the Dark Tower. I'm rolling for our journey. I know we're gonna be sleeping on that journey. There's a 1 right there, just my first roll. So we're gonna keep it going. And actually, since I've rolled a 1, if Kim, if you want to roll for the journey as well.
Wait, what's going on? What are you rolling for?
I know we're about to journey
Yeah.
to the Dark Tower. I just want to pre-roll so you know if the world is going to end, so you can affect our journey in the way that.
Well,
it
should
would.
we leave on the journey first?
Yeah, you haven't even left on the journey.
Ooh, okay. Sorry,
Okay,
I've
let's-
jumped
I
the
think
gun.
you were a little
Then let's
preemptive
go.
on that one, bud.
I've jumped the gun. I'm so awake. Closing time really got me going.
Focus. Yeah.
you know,
Nothing has ever gotten me moving and ready for a journey more than hearing closing time.
Yeah, I feel like we're all ready to go, like all on horseback, like all,
I love that
We're-
you say
we're
all on horseback,
on
but
the
between
road.
the lot of you, there is
we
one
don't have any
mule.
horses. Yeah.
What? No, all of us on the horseback.
There's
On the
there
horseback.
listen
Spooning
there-
again.
There is 1 mule and,
And
the
there are,
rat gets
what,
to
6
ride
of
it.
You dirty rat! You rode my mule.
All right,
You
so
filthy pigeon.
you guys set off on the journey. I think that the last time you guys bought enough lard to last you. Well, if the world doesn't kill you, then the lard certainly will.
My inventory
Our arteries
currently
are healthy.
says my inventory currently says 12 out of 10 lard.
Yes.
I-
That's a good rating.
That's a good rating. for
Rotten
lard.
Tomatoes,
That's
12 out of 10
Yeah,
lard.
Borg, 12 out of 10 lard. If the journey doesn't kill you, the lard surely will.
Yes.
How can I get that as knuckle tattoos?
You roll a d6 for misery,
rib.
but you roll a d4 for lard-induced heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
No, our arteries, they're lubed, right? So
Yeah, so the blood goes
through
fast.
so fast.
That's how that works.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's like the Jamaican Olympics bobsledding team.
Here's your knuckle tats.
Oh, I don't like that.
Here it is for you, Oz. No, here it is. You love it. Here it is. It's lard. Bard.
Lard life! Lard life!
Lard life.
Yeah.
I was going to say lard bard.
Lord Bard.
Now, is life with an I or a Y?
Yes.
It's with a bottle of lard.
Perfect.
All right.
It's I/Y.
It's a wineskin of lard.
That's apt.
All right, so let's Cool Runnings our way out of this town.
Yep.
All right, yeah. You guys make your way out of the town very stylishly, very dramatically. Do you guys say goodbye to anyone? You probably swing by the bar to gather up Glenn.
Yeah, I say goodbye to Wes in chat. Goodbye, Wes.
All right, and with that,
I was gonna say
Yeah,
we say bye to the lard vendor, our only friend.
They walk outside and Gorm's like, "Bye, Wes," and everyone's like, "Who?"
Who?
Who?
Looking around.
Ghost?
Right. No, because we're going east. We're going away from the west.
Glenn leans in and says, "The Dark Tower's to the northwest."
If we go east far enough,
Hey, well, might be a longer journey than 7 days.
I am part of the conspiracy theorists that think the world is round.
What is wrong with you?
Those damn round earthers.
Does he say what is wrong with you as Gorm is putting just a thing of ash in his lip and he's got a lard wineskin and he's like, what's wrong with you, man?
Our planet is clearly triangular.
I'm sorry, what?
What do you mean?
The Earth is flat. Anyway, let's go.
Triangles are flat.
Triangles are, so it's not pyramidal.
No, what planet's a pyramid?
Giza.
That's made up by the government.
And birds are surveillance drones.
It's true.
All
It's what
right.
the two-headed basilisk
Orange kind of
uses to
side
report
eyes
on
his
us.
pigeon.
Yeah, we all turn and look at the pigeon
Yeah.
Orange just...
and it just poops on Orange's shoulder.
Not that one though. Not that
eyes
one.
are just...
I don't trust it. So now that sorry about my finger going in the way of my webcam. I have a different setup because my desk is all set up for my day job and I'm using my tablet for this. So now that the shape of the world and the use of birds has been sorted out,
Yes.
you guys have made your way outside of Golgenbeck and have continued into the direction of the northwest towards the Dark Tower, a place that Glenn has described as being the same as Golgenbeck, but the tower is pure black instead of marble white. Never heard of this place before, but Glenn seems to have a strong idea of what this place is and what direction to go for it. So he leads you onto the journey through this cold, cold day. Snow begins to fall. Seems like the day is only getting colder as the sun rises. Not really what you're used to, but the trees around you are all dead and withering as you travel northeast. Any body of water that you pass by, be it pond or small lake or rivulet, is frozen over. Just a dirty, hazy ice that fills the water and falls down from the trees in small icicles shattering on the hard ground. It's a quiet day throughout your journey. It's basically just the talk amongst yourselves and the crunching of the frozen grass beneath you. Before too long, the grass starts to fade away, just becoming a wasteland of dry dirt and soil, not providing much support for any life around. You know that you're not too far away from Graventusk, the land of 1,000 graves. You've been there before, but you know that it's not in your path of your journey this week.
Yeah, I've been there before. I know it's not on the path, but I count. There's way more than 1,000 graves in that place. I was like,
oh, has Gorma counted all of them?
Yeah, I was like, there's no way there's 1,000, but it turns out way more.
So, like, what's the size of one grave? And then how are you using that to estimate all the graves in the jar? Because I feel like with some careful math, you can kind of figure it out, you know?
I think it's
like
bold of you to assume that it's an estimation.
Yeah, they don't bury them in a grid pattern. They just kind of bury them where they fall.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's like a scatter shot.
I just wasn't sure if there was like a prize if like you guessed the number correctly.
There is, but I was wrong. I went. There's a eternal being that sits there, and you walk up, and you can hear in your head it says, "Guess the number." And I guess
so. You wouldn't be able to like put on a hat and try again, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I never tried to guess twice. I knew I was wrong. I was at like 3,723, and
right.
And it said I was wrong, and I looked back behind me at all the unmarked and marked graves, and I just said, no, not gonna guess again.
When we're on our way back, we'll try that. I'll try, and then we'll both go put on hats, and then we'll go and speak to the being again, and we'll see. We'll see. You wanna come along? You wanna try and estimate? You're so good at math.
Arch.
Yeah. Oh man, we've gotta
Alon,
give it
I
a
love
shot.
that hat. I love that
I
hat
don't
so
have any
much.
hats near me.
They'll never know it's me, Gorm.
His new identity, Mörk'd.
Failed. I am a woman.
This hat was made by a furniture company.
I love that.
What?
Yeah, they made like 20 of them, and then nobody bought them. So
So it's mine.
yeah, so I bought them.
Yes.
All right. As you guys continue through the day and as you get a little bit more farther north and a little bit farther west, start to notice that there are the frozen over corpses of birds littering the ground, reminding you of that period of time when the birds would just fall dead from the sky. It seems like in the colder, harsher weather, they haven't been cleaned up or picked clean by any means. They've frozen over, preserving the bodies quite nicely as you just see birds, crows, birds of prey, just littering the path ahead of you. Not that there's much of a road,
Right.
but
Orange is gonna collect a few for dinner. And his dog definitely has a snacky snack.
all right, yeah, just like crunches into this icy
Yeah,
crow.
it's like a feathery popsicle. And when there are some that are like not as 3-dimensional anymore, they're more 2-dimensional. The dog absolutely rolls in them.
Oh yeah.
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 Just very happy dog.
Gilbert
Of course, yeah.
collects like some of the feathers, like as you're doing this, like to clean the birds, and like starts decorating you with them, like hiding them like in the scale of your armor so that it looks like you've got little tufts on your shoulders.
Orange wears a lambskin. He doesn't have.
Oh, he doesn't
armor.
have mail. Oh damn it.
No.
So he still like will braid like some
Oh, good.
braid some into your hair, and then he'll do the same to Gorm and kind of like do, you know, like a nice little waterfall braid and like stick some feathers in there so that he's got like a cool.
The rat's really into it. The pigeon keeps like. Might poop on you at some point, maybe.
That's fine.
It's like
collateral
it's the
damage.
pigeon's
Added
threat.
insulation.
I would poop on you.
So as you guys continue through the day after stopping to collect these birds and feathers and everything like that, as the sun begins to set and, you know, cracks through the gray sky a little bit, it reflects through off of the snow that has fallen throughout today, almost making it seem like a brighter day than it is, as the white ground reflects the sunlight that is piercing over the horizon. Other than just the quiet day, nothing's really happened today. Sun begins to set. And before too long, you guys are trying to find a place to camp. What are you looking for when it comes to a place to set up your bedrolls and perhaps build a fire if you can?
Is visibility difficult at all? Like, is there any like fog of war / like general fog because of like the reflection? Like, is it hard to see the horizon line, or like is it just like a straight shot out?
At this point, it's, you know, you can kind of just see pretty far, honestly. The snow has been steady, but it hasn't been like hard throughout the day.
Is the snow deep enough that if they found a spot where it's drifted a bit, they could dig down into it and have like some natural insulation
Little
for the
igloo?
night?
Yeah.
So probably at its most dense where you are, it ranges between 2 to 4 inches of snow. So it's been coming down throughout the entire day, but not extremely heavy.
Okay. Are there like is there like a tree line or anything?
So as you continue to walk into the evening, into the dusk, you encounter just like small patches of completely dead trees, not providing too much for cover, but better than the open air that you've been traveling through.
Okay. I feel like Gilbert will sort of walk up to like one of these little like patches and kind of take like his like bedroll and like whatever sheet he usually has, and
Yeah.
will like prop it up so that they have like a place to like sit, you know,
Alright.
like a little barrier against some trees, and then like drape whatever he can find like on top of the trees, and then like hang up all the supplies like like when you try to keep stuff away from bears, you know,
Yeah.
like hang up everything and like it, you know, just kind of.
The dog thinks this is great.
Yeah.
It's just hopping around, like trying to catch the food that's now dangling.
Mhm.
Fun
It's really
game.
cute watching him do like
Yes.
this little dance on his hind legs.
I love
Yeah,
that.
little-
Gilbert
little
like pets
feet,
the
like-
guy's jowls. Yeah. Are we doing watches for the first night?
Probably smart.
Yeah, I'll take first watch.
All right.
I'll take last watch. I need my.
So Orange will
sleep.
be in the middle then.
All right. And you do also have Paltroon, Greg, and Glenn, if you want to divvy up some watches into them.
In fact, you know what? You guys got it. I'll sleep for tonight.
Rest well.
All right. So, you know, the full day of journey has kind of done a number on the old bones of old Glenn. So the watch order is going to be Gilbert, Orange, Greg, then Paltroon to bring in the morning.
Okay.
So let's see. So, Gorm is the name of your character. My goodness, I had to go through like every character here has a G in it except for Paltroon. So went through
Sorry.
the list. Gorm, even though you are not taking a watch for the night, you spend the entire night tossing and turning. You could swear that you are awake when you look up and see just birds lining the trees, the dead trees above you, staring at you. It looks as though they are just staring directly into your eyes. You look around and your allies aren't there. They're nowhere to be seen. You're all alone here in this small cluster of trees. You wake up, snap out of it in the middle of the night, and you look around. You see Orange on patrol walking around through the wooded area. You look up, and you can't see anything in the trees. Of course, through the night sky, it's a little bit difficult, but you still feel as if you're just being watched, like something is piercing straight into your soul. You can't really shake that feeling. The entire night is not very restful for you. It's just haunted by these nightmares of eyes above you, looking at you, watching you. Other than that, the night is silent, oddly silent. Other than just the sound of whoever's taking watch, making footsteps in the snow. It's a very light, just snow falling throughout the entire night. The things that you have up in the tree, the sheets that you have protecting yourself, get a small layer of snow throughout the hours of the night. But before too long, the morning follows you. And Alon, do you want to toss the misery die roll over to someone?
Here you go, Cam.
Me?
Yep. Here, you gotta take it though. There you go. Yep. You got it.
What's that? I don't know if that's the correct direction.
Absolutely, you got it.
The correction,
Nailed
if
it.
you will.
No.
I have an orange.
An orange?
I have an orange.
Oh yeah, check out these
Orange.
awesome dice. Who
Uh,
made these dice?
Root beer
Everyone follow root
on
beer.
Instagram.
RUET.
Those I don't know if the orange is
UET.
showing. I can't tell on my computer.
No, it was awesome.
It was there. It was there. The orange and the teeth.
Yeah.
All right. Let me pull
Here's
this
the
up.
one thing that I, Alon, have taken away from Borg. The fact that more people are selling baby teeth than I thought. The tooth fairy's
Yeah.
got a robust market.
It's true.
Somewhere out there in my mom's storage, there is the tooth that I pulled out of my face when I was 4. It wasn't wiggly.
Just
we
pulled
were at dinner, and I was like, I don't want this anymore. And I got up and I went into the bathroom and I pulled it. It was a front tooth.
Oh my god.
You're like, I pulled it out. It's the tooth.
I have grown tired of you, Tooth. Leave my body.
That's the most hardcore thing I've ever done in my life, and I've only gotten softer from there.
Age 4 was when you peaked.
I peaked at 4, yeah.
You know what they say?
So I rolled.
They say there's before and then there's after.
Boo. So I
accept
rolled
your
a
booze.
56 on the misery die table. So as the night comes to an end, you all have a similar vision of this figure standing on the edge of a cliff. The perspective that you see is now it's much closer in. Like it's almost as if you could reach out and touch this person that is just yelling. And down beneath the cliff, you can see villages on fire, trees dying in front of you as this figure shouts to the void. You can hear the screams of people in pain. This figure shouts, "And the last king and the last queen shall wither to dust. Their wretched courts are devoured by wolves."
Do we all hear this?
In your vision, yes, be it during your watch or in your sleep, but you all hear this, much like the visions you have had prior of this figure on the edge of the cliff.
Gilbert sits straight up and just goes, "Oh, sweet."
Gorman's like, I wonder if regal dust is more hydrating than normal dust.
Yeah, one way to find out, really. If only you had burned King Cobbleswift and seen how royalty ash tasted.
If only. We should
Missed
do that next time.
opportunities.
Yes.
I'm going to post that on the missed connections thread.
There you go, yeah. All right, and yeah, all of you just lurch awake.
Real quick, look at
And
Zarko spying
this
on
is-
us.
this
Oh,
is-
she's gone. She's right here. She was just like looking just over the... Yeah, keep an eye out.
And so at this point, this has been the 6th time that you have all had this dream. I don't think you've ever discussed it amongst yourselves, but just there's kind of just like this knowing that each of you have had this dream, and you're a little bit used to it, so much so that Gilbert exclaims, "Ah, finally," or "Ah, awesome." I can't remember the words
Oh,
exactly.
sweet.
Ah, sweet. But it is still a rude awakening nonetheless. You guys wake up to the cold morning. This time, definitely with a U. There's no question about it. Zarko.
She's looking.
She makes her appearance.
So what do you guys do as you head into the next leg of your journey?
Orange is gonna cook up some dead bird in the fire.
All right,
For
yeah, there's a
breakfast.
small amount of your fire still going. It was covered by the pieces of clothing and sheets and things that were set up. Enough to, yeah, get a decent cook going on these birds. It's nothing
There may be
spectacular, but
cooked like on Grubhub when they ask you how you want your wings done. They're a little undercooked, but it's fine. It just makes them more tender.
I mean, I know that you guys like feasting on your lard as meals, but it is also a cooking option. You could slather that bad boy right up, and now you're cooking with Crisco.
I gotta go. Yeah, okay, so post breakfast. Did you all hear that last night, by the way?
You talking about the classic 60s band, the Lardbirds?
Yeah, they're really cool. I love the sort of, like vintagey beat. The open, really steely guitar is a great opportunity. Yeah. No, I meant the yelling about the end of all kings.
Orange nods and like breaks off a nicely charred like crow leg and just hands it to Gilbert and just Orange.
Gilbert takes it and goes, well, I'm just wondering what that means for the one that we're going to go kill.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
totally
really,
sure if
there's that,
two
and I'm
are
also
related.
really worried about the kingdom, the Dark Tower. Damn it, I made a good joke earlier and I can't remember the guy's name.
The Kingdom of Stephen's
The
Kingdom.
Stephen Kingdom. Oh my
Stephen's
god.
Kingdom.
I'm worried about it. That's what I was trying to say.
So you guys have your breakfast of bird and lard or ash or whatever, really. You've got quite the smorgasbord to choose from.
Smorkborg.
Morgus.
Borgus.
Yeah. I think Gilbert's gonna kind of chew on that idea, like gonna think about like, End of all kings to who does that extend? And kind of think about his past and what it might mean to everybody that he's redirected, that used to be a part of his kingdom that he helped find like salvation, and he's gonna keep a extra hand a little tighter on Kale, like on his sword that has his boyfriend in it.
Much better than your boyfriend that has a sword in it, personally.
It's true. Yeah.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Different kind of flavor. Yeah. A cold, fridgy kind of flavor.
Yeah. Oh no, my boyfriend has a sword in him.
God, how does this
Oh,
keep
no.
My sword
happening?
has my boyfriend in him. Very opposite ends of tragic things happen to your boyfriend with a sword.
Yes.
I think there's a podcast about that.
There's got to be someone. Everyone has a podcast except for you.
All right. And it sounds like you guys are prepared to journey into this second day.
On into this cold night.
All right. So you guys pack up your things and you start traveling. It's another, as I drop things everywhere. It is another cold gray day. Today the visibility is a little bit lower. A low fog hangs over the earth around you, and the snow falls a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier than it has in the days past. As you travel throughout the day, it starts to get a little bit more difficult to walk as the snow piles up and it's not quite packed in. Your feet sink a little bit more than they did before. The snow falls a little bit thicker. It's hard to see, but you make do with what little light comes through the gray clouds. As it starts to get a little bit darker, you might find it'll be easier to see if you have a torch lit or something, although with the wind that is blowing, it might be hard to keep that fire ablaze.
Not when you have an endless supply of lard.
It definitely helps.
I'm gonna.
It's just like lighter fluid.
Yeah,
like
I'm
every
part
time
of
we blow
a new color lantern called the Lard Lantern. It's a peacekeeper force. Yeah.
Perfect.
Lard turn.
Yeah.
Larder fluid.
Oh my God.
Glorious.
That's it right there.
Bigger,
Smells
stronger,
like bacon.
larder.
TM.
Larder, better, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
Work it. Makes us.
Larder.
Larder, better, faster, stronger.
Stop it, you're gonna make me lard.
what you assume to be halfway through the day. It's hard to tell with how thick the clouds have become. The snow is falling even harder than before. The wind blows what remains of your tattered clothes around. Your once styled coif for Gilbert and Gorm is just blown around by the wind. The day's grown darker as the clouds have grown thicker and the fog just continues to roll through. And you're not sure if it's the wind that you're hearing between what remains of the trees sort of passing by you. But on the horizon, off in the distance, you hear you swear sounds like the howling of wolves.
Ow.
Gilbert
Then it
draws his
fades
sword.
away. And then it makes you think that maybe it was just your imagination, maybe the wind playing tricks on your senses. You shake it off as you continue to journey, but before too long, wind picks up and you hear the same sound. It sounds a little bit closer than it did before.
Ow.
Ow. As you
Orange's
continue to
dog howls back.
Yeah, oh yeah, like he stops and his tail like picks up his head. And the second time, once the howling is a little bit more clear, he howls back.
But
Once
it's
your
like one
dog-
of those husky type.
Oh!
Yeah.
One of the wolves echoes back.
It's just like
Yeah, there's a
little beat on his
Pomeranian
face.
amongst the wolves.
Yeah.
It's pudding.
It's a classic Pomeranian coming of age story. Being raised by wolves, yeah.
Yeah. And as you guys continue to journey, like the howling will stop, and each time it makes you wonder, like, was this truly like wolves that we heard? Is it the wind? But each time it sounds like it's louder, like you're getting closer to it or it's getting closer to you. This continues to just be off and on throughout the day. Almost seems to, at least it feels as though it is guiding you through this cold, dark, foggy day. It seems to be coming from the direction that you're heading.
A quick question.
Yeah.
Does Liam Neeson come in and be like, "Those aren't wolves. Those are perfect killing machines. They'll no matter, doesn't matter what you do, they'll eat you, they'll kill you, and they'll kill
No,
you."
I didn't want to spoil anything,
next of
but the
kin.
voice shouting on the cliffs is Liam Neeson.
I knew it. Just taping glass to his knuckles.
Yep. And before too long, following the sounds of these wolves, it's made the day seem as though it's passed by a little bit faster. Before too long, what little bit that's remained of the light through the clouds has crested over the horizon. The night begins to fall upon you. Now, there's not too much for tree coverage, even small gatherings. It's kind of just been empty, snowy fields for a while now. What do you guys do?
I think it's a smart idea to set up camp where like we're all facing out, you know, like everybody's back to back and we all kind of lean on each other for support, like everybody's sleeping in a circle kind of situation.
Yeah, Nice's pieces definitely gives us that advice. He's like, they're gonna get one of you. One of you will die. Maybe 3. They're killing machines, but if you keep your backs to each other, maybe one of us makes it through the night.
Perfect.
Gilbert absolutely takes this to heart and immediately is like, "Huh," and like sits down and is like, "Get on my back."
Yeah, I never realized that Gorm's voice is actually based on Liam Neeson in that Wolf Winter movie until right now. And then I was like, that's
connecting the dots.
absolutely what it is.
There you go. I'd like to think that there's a little Liam Neeson in all of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some Nice's pieces, if
There you
you
go,
will.
yeah. All right, so what's the watch order going like?
I'll take first again.
All right.
Orange can go second again.
Gorm's he's gonna take a middle watch. He didn't sleep well yesterday. He was like, usually I'm a bird watcher, but last night I think the birds were watching me. Oh, I didn't sleep well. I'll take watch.
All right. So yeah, and Paltrine once again offers to take up a watch. It seems that the other members of the party are quite tired. So let's see. So during the first watch, Gilbert, you are keeping a close eye on the party and trying to see outward from the fire as best as you can. Constantly having a hand on your sword, just at the ready. And throughout the night, off and on, once again, even as the wind has died down, you are certain that it's not just forces of nature playing tricks on your senses as you hear the howling of wolves. First, throughout your watch, it sounded like it was fairly close, and as it continued, it seems like it is getting farther away from you, but still seems as though it is heading in that direction that you were heading. It's persisted through your watch, rather, until it's just a distant sound muffled by the snow. To the point where you think that you can hear it if you listen hard enough, but you're not quite sure if it's just what remains of this sound that you've been trailing throughout the entire day, or if you can still hear it off in the distance. But other than that, it was a very quiet night. The snow has insulated any sound that would be made around you, and it's still as the snow continues to fall. Winds died down throughout the night, throughout your watches. And if it weren't for all of your companions by your side, sleeping as they may be, it would feel very much like you are alone out here in the darkness and the quiet of the snow. The morning starts to come. And Kim, who do you want to pass the misery die to?
I'll pass it on over to Vi.
I think I gotta do one of these.
Yeah, you're on it.
Okay. Not that one. We're gonna do with this one. I got a 5.
All right. So another day passes us by. The morning rolls around, although it does not bring all too much more sunlight or warmth. But it is now the third day of this journey. What do you guys do as you get on up for the day?
What a cold, drab day. We're gonna need some morale for sure for this one. A poltroon. Give me a beat.
And he pulls out his lute and tunes it up. It's fallen out of tune in the cold weather. But he strums a simple 4-chord pattern. Anyone can sing along to it.
Yeah.
Orange's dog starts like yapping and howling.
Yeah. Bow, bow. Yeah. We're traveling through the snow. We're the entertaining show. We've been here before, but not really. This is our first time. We're going to the castle, and it's really been a hassle. I really don't like these wolves, but they're here to stay. Bow, bow. That's a snow travel rap. It's eventually we'll make it to the clouds. It's gonna be cloud rap. It's gonna be big.
I think you're onto something.
Thank you.
So.
I appreciate you supporting my arts. It's either that or I've had too much of this expired lard. I don't know.
No, I think the lard is fine. I think that you just need to put the sound in the clouds.
Okay.
True.
Well, that'll help. Gorm takes those notes. He takes them on something that's on hand that he says this is very important. He puts it in his pocket, and he never remembers to dig it back out of that pocket.
I like the joke of he writes it on his hand, says this is important, and puts that in his pocket, and then smudges off what he wrote.
Yeah. He never takes his hand out of his pocket.
Pulls it out of his pocket.
Yeah.
And you guys continue on your journey. The snow at this point, it's hard to see. Glenn is determined that he still knows the right direction. You guys are shivering into the cold. Sorry, my phone was just vibrating a lot with work messages. And yeah, the snow is just blanketing down at this point. You're doing your best to stay warm, either with huddling up next to the mule or the dog or your friends or whatever it may be. About halfway through the day, you come across a decent-sized river, completely frozen over. There's snow that's starting to sit on top of the river, but as you move it aside, you can see what lies beneath. So it's pretty foggy, frozen over. You can't see too far below it. But unlike in your travels before where you've had to cross these rivers, this one seems like it can just be walked across as it's been completely frozen over. When you approach this river, Glenn seems reassured, like once again that you guys are heading in the right direction. He's like, yes, this river separates us from the region of the Black Tower, the Dark Tower. We're certainly getting close. I'm sure of it. We have to be.
Glenn, this river, it was named after a very influential person from the. Do you remember what the name of the river was? It was the person who invented the box. It's the creator of the box.
The creator of the box.
Yeah. The river's named after. Do you remember his name?
I can't say I do. The river that I remember, it's known for having just extremely crystal clear waters, and it's thought to bring people back to life, and it was called Credence.
Yeah. I forgot the river.
I don't think this was this river though.
Yeah, no, not this one. That one runs somewhere else. Yeah, I couldn't remember the creator. Do you remember what the name of this river is, Gilbert? You're a much more educated man.
All I remember is that the Credence one was the one with the cold water.
It's cold and clear. That's what they say. Cold and clear.
That's what they say. Yeah.
Ernst, do you remember the name?
I think that.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
I crossed the river. I fear dysentery, so I crossed the river.
Yeah, I'm gonna are we wading our way through, or are we?
No,
It's frozen.
it is completely frozen over.
It's frozen. Okay. I was gonna say, what do you mean by frozen? Like frigid or like frozen?
No, frozen.
I think Gilbert would use his scabbard sword, like the whole thing, like in sheath, would tap ahead of him like a cane to make sure that it's solid enough to walk.
Yeah, so as you test the ice, it doesn't seem to crack or sound any different as you tap your way in front of you like a blind man navigating the street. It seems as though this river, throughout its entire width, will support your weight as you cross.
Okay.
Orange's dog is having the time of its life. Mule, not so much.
Oh yeah, Mule is
Oh, no.
afraid of the slippery water. The dog is just sliding all across it.
Tail wagging like a helicopter propeller.
Yeah, doing
Yes.
a McTwist and other figure skating moves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the wiggles. It's very excited.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys make your way across the frozen river. It is not as treacherous as it might have seemed. But you know that this is the farthest north you have ever been in this land. As you continue on in your journey, the terrain starts to get a little bit more hilly. There's more.
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is why I believe the world's round. We're so far north. If it was flat, we would have fallen off it already. I know it's not a popular
Glenn shakes
thing.
his head and says, "Where
I know
just
the
reaching
science
peak of
doesn't
the
support
triangle."
me, but I still believe it.
God. And yeah, then there's the disagreements in the party. Glenn says, "No, we're just reaching the point of the triangle." And as you guys continue to travel through this part of the land, it starts to get more hilly and just there's more terrain to travel under, but there's still just really no life to be seen. There aren't many trees, and what are just dead and rotting. The snow is thicker here as you are trudging through. At this point, probably close to a foot of snow in some parts, in some of these smaller valleys.
Are we getting to that point where we could do what Kim suggested and like, dig in a little?
It definitely seems that way. As you have started to travel more throughout this day and head farther north, the snow's definitely gotten a lot thicker, and it seems that you would be able to insulate yourself with that snow.
Okay.
By the time night rolls around, it definitely confirms that theory. Like, definitely large snow banks around you. So you get ready to just, settle in for the cold night.
Okay.
A classic Christmas tune.
Yeah.
Cold,
Oz,
cold,
are you
cold night.
cold? Oz, are you rolling this time? I mean, I would assume we would take the same watch order.
Yeah, you guys taking the same watch order?
Yeah.
If it ain't
All right,
broke,
so let me see.
says Gorm.
Don't fix it.
So let me see. So it is a very uneventful night. No strange nightmares that happen throughout the night. You don't feel as if you're being watched. The sound of the wolves that you heard the day prior have not been audible for this entire day's journey. Perhaps that it's been completely muffled by the snow and you can't hear anything much past that, or maybe it's just gone away completely. You aren't sure. But it's a quiet night. You're able to catch a decent enough rest by insulating yourself in the snow. And I'm gonna do this roll. Roll a
There it
one,
goes.
guys.
That was the last
So-
one, right?
Yeah, that's it's the 7th roll for this.
All right.
So the last of the Psalms,
Oh, that
Psalm 7, the
sweet
last.
focus.
Oh
Let
man.
me show you this makeup I've been wearing. It's really been very kind. It has a good saturation level.
I'm so lucky to be able to show this to you guys today.
Let's see if you can see the bones.
Oh yeah, they're cool.
Mossy
Nice.
bones in my die.
Bones.
So you all share this
Bone.
vision of this man, or this person rather, standing on this cliff face. This person is just shouting out these words. And from the stream's perspective, it looks as if like you circle around to the front of them, viewing them head on as they shout these final words. You can
Is
hear
it
the
Liam
sound.
Neeson?
It is unfortunately not Liam Neeson. But you hear the sounds of villages burning behind you, people screaming, what
it's
sounds
Keanu
as if the
Reeves.
earth is torn asunder behind you. As you look at this figure now, the figure is revealed now that you can see their face to be you, Gorm. You see yourself, Gilbert. You see yourself, Ernst. You see yourself, but rapidly aging, starting from a young age, face being torn by age as it goes through adolescence to adulthood to late age, as the skin just rots away and boils up with age, and it starts to repeat itself back to infant, to toddler, and again, watching yourself just rage and age and wither and die and be born again in this face. But in the reflections of the eyes, you see anyone that you have known through your life die, be torn apart by flame or devoured by earthquakes, crushed by buildings falling down. All of these flash in the reflections of the eyes of yourself that you were looking at. And as this figure just shouts directly at you this time, all praise Yetsabune, the underworld's nightmare, the black disk which stands before the sun. All praise Verhu, beaming with delight. All praise the fire which burns all. The darkness shall swallow the darkness. And with that, you feel yourself falling back behind this cliff. The screams of the people in pain behind you are louder and louder. The sounds of the fire rage on, and you fall past all of your friends, your family, your loved ones, anyone that you have come to know. They look down at you as you just keep falling and falling. Eventually, the figures of these people looking down at you, the light from the fires, all just becomes so distant and dark, and you're surrounded by the just darkest dark you have ever seen. And then you feel nothing. You don't feel like you're falling anymore. You don't feel the fear that you felt as you fell off this cliff face. You look around and it feels calm, a calm that you haven't felt in your time here on this earth. You've always been surrounded by fear, by terrible things happening. You close your eyes and you feel relaxed for a moment. You take in a deep breath, and it doesn't hurt your lungs like the cold air has in the days past. It feels like a much needed sigh of relief. After a moment, just taking in this air that doesn't hurt to breathe, you open your eyes. Each of you are sitting down at a different table. Looks like you're in a restaurant or a tavern or something. Looking around you, there are people as far as the eye can see. Gorm, across from you at this booth, there is a figure that you haven't seen before, but a figure with dark hair that is graying at the roots, nicely trimmed facial hair, is wearing elegant robes, and you can see a nice embroidered design on them. The robes are black, but the design is gold.
Liam Neeson?
A server or a waiter comes up to you, and before you, their form changes. To Gorm, who, in Gorm's mind's eye, who would be like, what is the description of the perfect person to serve you a drink or food?
Myself, of course. The only person who could.
The only one who knows my preferences.
Yeah,
and how I like my pickles.
Better count those ice cubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the server comes up to Gorm, Gorm being served by Gorm, and hands Gorm a plate of whatever food Gorm likes and the perfect drink for him. Yeah, and it is lemon LaCroix.
I think that's pronounced La Croix.
Thank you, Gorm.
Of course, Gorm. And Gorm walks away, and goes to a different table. So the person in front is, what do you have there, bud?
Is that local honey?
It's local honey, but I want it to be a jar of lard, so I just got lard. And
Oh,
LaCroix.
perfect. And the
Little
person
lard.
sitting across from you,
Alucard.
the person sitting across from you kind of reclines in the booth, says, "So I do not know who you are, but I think I can make an assessment on that, judging by the fact that you are here. You have you have a mark on your back, do you not?"
I do.
The figure across from you rolls up his elegant sleeves, and his entire body, from what you can see, is marked with just these pitch black markings. All of them seem like they could be very similar to yours, but they all represent different ways of what you can determine to be death. Things like fire or hangman's noose or all sorts of different things. Basically anything that you can imagine. Looks like his body is just completely brandished by these black markings.
Oh my God. I can see right there the one where you didn't want to get up to make yourself food because you were really in a deep game of civilization, and you said just one more turn until you died.
The worst fate to befall any man, truly.
Wow.
Now, although I do not know who you are, exactly. You are one of my children.
Dad?
Well, it seems strange for you to call me that now. But certainly, what is your name so I can address you properly?
My name's Gorm, Daddy.
Well, Gorm, it is pleased to finally meet another one of my children. My time here, and he kind of gestures to the place around you, I've met many of people that are of my kin. They typically show up here at this table, and, well, it's a sign of what they are. I used to be a king, the land from whence you came. So my kingdom was overthrown and I was slain, but I traveled a lot in my days, met many wonderful people. And any child that was born after my encounter with anyone was always branded with the mark of death in one way or another. Some of them had the same mark, some of them had different ones, but in one way or another, their fate would always come to pass. It seems that it is just a curse that was passed between my family and continued to be passed.
Are you saying the curse is that everyone who was born would die?
Well, I think that is a fate for anyone, but the brand of this brand, the one that you bear, seems to act differently than the normal curse of death that is brought upon life. You know, I'm sure that you've had trouble with the church or anything like that. Any sort of holy man, really, I'm sure has given you some trouble. Well, that's just how it came to pass. It seemed our family never really got along well with the church, being the king of darkness there in the land. It came with its own troubles, and oftentimes struggles when it came to people of a holy nature, per se. But how are you? Do you have any? I'm sure that this is strange for you. Do you have any questions for me? I've been here for a little while longer than you have. I've spoken to many people as well. And I know that this whole thing is strange. It was strange for me when I first came here as well.
Are all of us here, or is it just Gorm?
All of you are at different tables.
Okay.
I've got a question that's haunted me.
Certainly.
And when I ask you it, I'd love a very thorough answer that right when you begin it, we pan to a different table because it would be dramatic. The top at the end of Inception, when it's on the table, does it stop spinning?
Well, all
The
of us
play-
are told
the
that
famous
simple
play.
answer once we get here. That is one of the first things that you learn up here, and where you see the answer is quite simple. I'll spoil it for you. And the camera pans on over to a table with Orange.
Yeah. And you hear Gorm in the background go,
Beside
"Oh,
Orange.
what the? Oh my God! No way! No way,
And-
dude!"
Beside Orange is his mother, Vesna. And across from him is a man that you actually looks familiar to Orange. This man has slicked back hair, is wearing like large, like regal fur-lined robes. And as the light returns to Orange's eyes after the vision of falling and the collapse of the world, you look around and you see your mother sitting next to you, who seems elated that you are here. And across from you is this man that looks familiar. Once you start to recognize him, you realize that although many years have passed, this is the man that saved you all those years ago, but also is what made you who you are today. And this man, as your light starts to return, he flashes a toothy grin, but his teeth are strange. They almost seem to be made out of terracotta clay.
At 4 years old, he pulled all
He
of his
says-
teeth out.
Yeah. And he says to you, it's been a long time since I've seen you. Seems that you've been doing well.
Orange.
And Vesna rubs your shoulder and your back and says, "Look, it's okay. If you want to, you can speak normally here, but I understand that you've grown used to the man that you've become. And if you aren't comfortable with that."
Orange looks around to see if his pets are there.
So as you look around, the dog runs up and jumps onto your lap. The rat tucks itself out of the dog's fur. And you see the mule sauntering over with the pigeon tied to the mule.
Orange pets the dog's head and just nods at his mom and looks back at the man.
The man, still flashing the strange smile, points at the pouch that you carry on you and he says, "I believe you still have something of mine." As he points towards the wizard's teeth pouch that you have.
Orange kind of looks at it, looks back at him, just holds it closer.
I understand.
Hold
Out
your,
here, it's just
hold your friend's teeth close. Hold your enemy's teeth closer.
Do you
Yes.
remember that day all those years ago? You were injured and your mother came running. I happened to be in the town that day. It's the only one that could help you in a limited capacity. After I performed my spell, you were in so much pain. You swung directly into my face and knocked most of my teeth out. Seems that they've, bared you well.
Orange nods quietly, still petting the dog's head. Dog's just panting loudly. Big dog smile.
Man just nods. He's like, "Well, I don't have much of a need for them up here. You can hold on to them for old time's sake." And a waiter walks by, and to Ernge, who is the ideal person to serve Ernge?
I think it would probably be the person from the brothel that he was very, very close friends with growing up.
Yeah.
And they maybe had a little bit of a thing for each other before the accident.
Yeah. All right. And so this man comes and serves Ernge, and Ernge immediately beams. What is Ernge's drink and food of choice?
It's just a simple beer and like a warm bowl of stew.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the waiter also places a letter in front of this man that you're speaking to. He's like, I've been getting a lot of these around here. Seems I have a lot of people to talk to. And he stands up and he pats Ernge on his shoulder and says, "A lot of things happen in this world, in this life of ours. You may not always realize that it's connected, but the spell that I cast on you gave me a lot of confidence in my life. I became quite the name as I continued to practice my magic and travel across the world. I guess I owe a little bit of that to you. Gave me the confidence to continue practicing this. Thank you for that. He pats your shoulder again as he takes the letter, asks the waiter to escort him to that table, and he goes on his way. Vesna just embraces you in open arms. The loving hug that you know so well from her just brings warmth back to you.
Orange hugs her back, kind of raises his beer glass at the retreating wizard.
On the back of his cloak, you notice a large embroidered insignia, one that you've seen many times in your journey, the insignia of the cult of Necrubal, as he walks away to another table. And Vesna puts her hands around your head and says, oh, Luke, I'm so glad we can be reunited here. And she asks, may I? As she starts to lift your mask up.
Orange kind of unclasps the little straps.
And she lifts your mask up, and to Orange's discretion, are his wounds healed?
I think, yeah, his face is no longer rotting. The skin's probably like it's scarred. You can tell that there was something there, but it's not like active stank rot anymore.
Perfect. And Vesna starts to tear up as her eyes water, and she grabs Orange by the head, pulls him into her chest, and just kisses the top of his head and says, I've missed your face. I've loved every part of you, my son, and I love being able to see you here alongside me.
Orange wraps his mom in a big hug and kind of pulls out from under it because he is a lot bigger than her.
Yeah.
And kind of envelops her in this giant hug and like kisses the top of her head and quietly enough that only she can hear says, I love you too, Mother.
And the camera pans over to Gilbert, sitting at a table. The light returns to your eyes after this vision of falling and dying and seeing everyone you know in pain. You blink to just get the weariness out of your eyes. You have that sharp inhale as you start to come to. Immediately, you look to your right in this booth next to you. Would you describe the physical body of Kyle for me?
Yeah. He has tight, curly, dark hair. That's like sort of close cropped, like at his ears, and then it gets like longer on the top. He has really dark, like chocolatey skin that seems it completely uninterrupted. He is wearing just like a very simple like gold like almost like chainmail kind of like light like little armor piece, and then a white like poet shirt underneath that's got a little tab collar, and he has a like long necklace with a purple stone on it that lays on top of everything.
And yeah, your eyes just beam as you see him, and he just looks so elated to see you as well.
Gilbert immediately looks for his sword. Where's his sword?
So does he have his sword on him?
I mean, he would have before they passed out.
So Gilbert has his sword on him.
Okay, he pulls it out and he's just like, where? You were...
Is this
and he puts a hand on the sword and lowers it. He says, it's okay, my love. I'm here. I'm here. I'm all here.
Can I grab his arm and okay. Gilbert just pulls him in as tight as he can and squeezes. Just squeezes.
And it's been so long since you felt the embrace of your long lost boyfriend. You've only heard his voice, which has been fantastic to connect you to him, but feeling his touch again, you can't help but just cry as tears start to roll down your cheek.
Is he crying too?
He is. You can feel the tears on your side and roll down
Gilbert
your back as well.
does one of these and then like takes his thumbs and like wipes the tears off of his face.
Oh, how I've missed that so. Everything feels so much colder when you're trapped behind steel.
I'm glad you're here. And Gilbert turns and looks at this guy who came over.
Yeah, so what does Gilbert see as the waiter or waitress or server?
Poltroon.
All right, so yeah, you see Poltroon there. And what is Gilbert's drink and food?
Does Poltroon have it?
Yeah.
Poltroon would know. It's it would probably be mead.
All right.
And like some kind of like orange like cake or like orange bread, like some kind of citrusy like thing.
Yeah, so that's passed down in front of you, and the server walks away. And as your shift gauges, I can't speak. As your gaze shifts, you see sitting across from you is the sight of Kyle's father, who has just now sat down.
Oh, instant like tone change, like shift. He like puts an arm like across the table, like in front of Kale, and it just kind of like braces himself in front. What are you doing here?
And the king just kind of waves his hand. He's like, no need to get tense. Nothing can happen here. Turns out we all just came to the same place.
Where are we?
Waffle House.
Because if you're here, I don't think I want to be here. Waffle
Whatever,
House, 2 a.m.
Whatever is beyond.
And we're in the same place. Kind of finding that one hard to believe.
Well, and he gestures. He's like, you can go really wherever you want. Anyone you want to see is here. Just ask the waiter to show you to the table. I got the note saying to come over to this one, and I had my life of cruelty back there. No point in me continuing it here. And he nods at you and nods at Kyle and says, glad you two are happy.
I think that I'll believe that when I see it, but thank you for finally saying it.
Maybe it took having my throat sliced, the hands of my adopted son while wielding my birth son to realize it. You don't have to stay at this table. You can go and visit whoever you want. If you have a question for me, I've been up here for a little while. Before you can answer that, from across this restaurant, which you now see just has a ton of tables, you hear a voice that you recognize. And Gorm? Hey, Gorm, is that you? As Tully runs from across the restaurant and slides into the booth next to Gorm, putting an arm around him. Hey, I knew we'd see each other eventually.
I always said the great lard will connect us.
And Tully raises a glass of some drink at the well-dressed man across from you, and he's like, hey, cheers, old guy. To quickly interrupt the thought process of Gilbert when asked if he has any questions for King Cobbleswift.
No, I mean, I think that I feel like Gilbert would kind of start talking to Kyle instead. I feel like he'd like, I did not see it.
We're at the last wrap. Wrap us, Oz. Wrap us in the cold death.
I
The
was
king
gonna
says, oh, go ahead, Kim.
Oh, I was gonna say over on Ernja's side of the restaurant, like every single resident of the brothel has found each other
Yes.
and they're all just carrying along. It's like the hour after closing and they're
Yeah.
just having a good time.
They're all linking
Yeah,
arms
the-
with beers, and they're all like,
yeah,
"Orange, orange, orange."
they're singing songs.
The booth has grown long enough to account for all of these people. You're here with all of your friends from the brothel. Your
And
family.
it takes you a moment to realize and to be able to hear over the sound of the dog howling along with the songs that Ernj is singing words.
Yes. The king turns to Gilbert, who's talking to Kyle, and just kind of knocks on the table and says, "Leave you be." He gets up and walks away, and in a moment after, Paltroon and Greg sit down at the booth across from you, and they join in conversation between Gilbert and Kyle. Ernj continues to sing in actual words with his family from the brothel, and Gorm catches up with the strange man that says to be his father and the eccentric Tully, the lard peddler, here at this table as they just continue to drink and eat and share pleasantries. The camera pulls out, just seeing the expanse of this restaurant and just people being happy, sitting with their loved ones, just reconnecting with people that they haven't seen in ages. Camera continues just to pull out through the doorway, which then closes. Fade to black, credits roll.
And as it fades, it pans right
Oh my
back
God.
into that room. And with all of these characters are you, our lovely audience, who has supported all of these characters on their journeys along the way. Our amazing
Guys,
GM.
seriously, thank you so much to our viewers, our players, to Goblins and Growlers, to Borg. This was a ton of fun. We raised a lot of money for a lot of charities, which is absolutely incredible. We couldn't have done this without you guys. And sticking with us through our long hiatuses time after time, it's gotten a little bit hectic. To all of our viewers, you guys are the best. To Kim, Alon, Vi, and Ben when he joined us, and Ben still, even though he's not here. You guys are absolutely fantastic. This has been a great campaign. Goblins and Growlers, thank you for hosting us when I just shot you a message in the middle of the night, just like, let's run a campaign for charity. It's been a ton of fun. Keep an eye out on the Disease Safe Twitter for some announcements. We got some a cool interview coming up in a couple of weeks with the artist behind Borg, Johan Noor. And we're just waiting to put that in concrete so we can get that done. I am Oz. I'm the Viking Media on Instagram and Twitter. Guys, this has been a blast. I've loved running this campaign. Gonna toss it over to Kim to say a couple of words and a farewell as well.
I would like to think that Scrum and Bob are at a booth together having a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah.
That's the post-credits scene.
Bob
It's
is
Scrum
no
talking
longer
to
a
the
skull.
human body of Bob.
Yeah.
Bob has like
Yeah.
skin and like is a talking head.
Bob is talking Scrum's ear off, and Scrum is exhausted.
Yeah, Scrum
Yeah.
has 2 things of wax that he just is like.
Yeah.
Lard, 2 things of lard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's all purpose.
But yeah, thanks for coming, guys. I'm Sanji's Closet. I'll be on social media again someday. Find me on Pillow Fort. Yeah, and I'll throw it down across to Vi.
Hello, I'm Violet or Vicious Froggery. I make stuff and also stream on Twitch on Mondays and Fridays. Oh my God, I'm reeling. The end of this was a lot. And I love doing tabletop games and content. Oh, I'm gonna throw it up to Gorm, up to Alon.
Hey, I'm Gorm. I cosplay Alon in my spare time. You can find me personally at the Dungeon Meowster. Lots of fun projects. We just released a book at Goblins and Growlers. We're creating a world book, and I'm also creating a children's tabletop RPG system and book. Yeah, I'm in the really early stages of that, but all of that you can follow me at the Dungeon Meowster to watch kind of some progress things as I work with teachers. I'm probably at some point gonna drag Kim in to make sure to give me some pointers and make sure that the things that I'm creating are both educational and inclusive. But yeah, so I'm with Goblins and Growlers. Follow us at Goblins and Growlers everywhere. We stream here at Growling Goblin Studios, including for we've got charity fundraising games coming up, or I guess like rewards coming up for what we've raised for VCU Children's Hospital and plenty more. You'll see these jabronis all around because I love them greatly, and no matter how much I try to get away, they always find their way back into my life, bringing with them joy and enrichment, the like of which Richmond has never seen. So, one last time, thank you all for Borging with us. Swedish Chef,
Thank you guys
Borg,
so
Borg, Borg,
much.
and the
Thanks,
rest
guys.
of you. It was quite a journey we went on, but as all great journeys do, it ended. And it ended with all of us becoming one with all of you. Good night and good luck.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Little hearts while I awkwardly try to find the stop streaming button.